welcome to live chat. I couldn't see. It says we're live, but I don't see nobody on there.
Which seat are you sitting on?
Why do you have to go live on selfie mode? Let's see if I can.
What?
Are we on?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be better when I get it
It's
turned around.
upside down.
Still?
Yeah.
Let me see, Sissy.
Still?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Anybody on there?
One.
Who is it?
I have no idea. I guess
Some
it might be me.
Some people said they had to go to church. So
Charlotte.
sit down there, you know.
Which seat?
That seat. Mine's over here.
Charlotte.
So I can see
Sure.
how signs are. It says there's 18 watching.
18.
That looks good. Alright. Sure, you stand up there. Now, there we go. Is anybody watching?
Yeah. We got comments.
Hey, folks. I wanted to introduce y'all, if you don't know. This is my daughter, Charlotte Rose, and my daughter, Virginia May, over here. She's my right-hand girl on my left side tonight, so. We're sorry that we didn't make the last live. We tried, but it just wouldn't work. We appreciate all of you tuning in. The way we're going to try to do this is Virginia here is going to try to do the comments, and if y'all got any questions and whatnot, we'd love to answer them for you. And I'm going to share a couple things about what we got going on. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Permapastures Farm, our friends and neighbors who encouraged us to start a YouTube channel. Now, Virginia, she brought it up to me a few years back that I need to start one. And I did start one like the year before last, but I didn't. I put a couple videos on there with meal stuff, and that was all I put on there. And Billy and William and Michelle, they encouraged us to start this channel, and I'm so thankful for them, and I'm glad that they did, because it's been a blessing to share and to get to know people and talk to you people. A lot of you are just names, but through your comments and stuff, I can see how kind you are, and we appreciate that, and we really enjoy it, and we hope y'all enjoy. We hope to be a blessing and hope to help somebody if we can. And you want to show them your thing right quick?
Yeah.
Charlotte's got something here she wants to show y'all. It's a little ring, and Uncle Billy from Permapasture Farm dropped it off to her this morning. And how it works, it's got a little reservoir down under here that you fill up with sugar water for hummingbirds, and you can put it on your finger. Show them. You can put it on your finger and hold it out, and the little hummingbirds will come and eat right off of your finger out of the little flower. So that's one of the neatest little things I've seen. What'd you think about it, Char?
Good.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's good? It's good?
I like bear on that picture.
I do too.
Sissy
You
holding bear.
want to say thank you to Billy and Michelle for getting you that little ring?
Yeah.
Go ahead and say it.
Thank you, Uncle Billy and Michelle, for giving me this ring.
All right. I also want to say that getting to know other folks on YouTube has been a blessing. We've met a lot of nice people, and it's just really amazing. I'm overwhelmed every day, and real thankful for every single one of you. You got anything you want to say, Virginia? You got any questions or comments yet?
No. I mean, we have comments.
Do you want to read some of them?
Strand Farm said, "Hey, y'all."
Hey, James and Ashley, I know that generator's running, so y'all can watch us on the big screen. We appreciate you.
Pops.
What?
Can I play with my dad
Thank you for helping.
You're welcome.
Get us started off right. More comments?
Mhm.
We'll read them all. Leah said something to Charlotte there.
Char. Leah said she loves your ring.
Leah.
Did you miss any?
What do you mean?
Did you miss any comments?
I mean, there's been comments, but you were talking inside.
Well, you may have to interrupt me for once in your life. We're going to try to get through these comments as best we can if you'll bear with us. We'll get better as we go along. It's tearing me up because I can't read them right now and talk at the same time. So
I'm a great asset.
read them loud so everybody can hear it.
Roger Beck said Virginia is a great asset.
Amen, Roger. She sure is.
Bob K said, hey, y'all.
Let's read some of the questions. I hope y'all have had a good day, and I didn't know what time to do this thing, what would work out the best for everybody, so I know some people's in different time zones, and it makes it confusing. Some people's just maybe have church services this evening, and we'll just do the best we can, and hopefully drag this out so everybody can get a little piece of it.
Ruth Barrett said, when is the 4th video on the chimney?
Yeah, that chimney, I got sick and couldn't finish that thing, and now it's about to be warm weather, but I'm still going to finish it and get the stove put up and turn a fan on and try the wood cook stove out sometime, I guess, this spring. So it's coming. I'll get it just as soon as I can.
Southern Lady 44 said, what a beautiful ring, Charlotte. And she said, hi, Virginia, you're quite the budding young photographer.
Oh.
I'm working on it.
You might have to talk loud so they can hear you.
Stram Farm says Virginia is the best, and Moose says hi. Hi to Moose. Hey from Cleveland, Tennessee. Horticulture and homes. What will you be buying with the funding, and how soon will mills be for sale, and what will they look like?
That is the Kickstarter. I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to get into it later anyway. On that, I've always kind of done things on my own, and as I've said in some of my videos, that's kind of selfish. And I was encouraged to do something like this to raise funds so that this meal project would get started off a lot quicker, because if I fund everything, there's a lot of upfront expense to do something like that. We may have to pay for a design patent, and there's a lot of materials, and they're expensive to get started. And if there's some work that I can't do in my shop that I have to get somebody else to kind of contract out to do, then if you got a small amount of work, they don't want to fool with you really, and there's very few machine shops around, and we found 1 or 2 people to help with this. And what we're going to do is the funding we get is going to pay for all the upfront expense. I tried to figure as close as I could what that would be, and get the materials to do this. The stones, they're expensive. Just get enough stuff to put together as many meals as I can and get it started off good. And I don't want it to be drug out and a bunch of waiting, because a lot of things you have to order in advance, and it may take 6 to 8 weeks on some of this stuff before I can even get it. So I've learned a lot by this, and people have told me, you know, we want to help you, Justin. We want to be part of this and help with it. And I know times are hard. Trust me, I know. And it's a hard thing to do right now the way things are. I know some people, you know, you want to help, but you can't, and I understand that. And if this was just a business just to make my living, I can just go on like I am, no problem. But I want this to help as many people as it possibly can as soon as it can. So that's what the money's going to be for. It's going to go 100% to get these meals into production. What was the rest of that question? And I want to say too, while we're on that subject, I'm just overwhelmed by people's kindness and love and wanting to support this project. This is a dream I've had. I know when I was 14 or 15, that's all I thought about was corn meals, grain meals, and me and Dad run all over the country looking at them, and I've always loved that. And then about 10 years or 12 years ago, I wanted to build my own design of a grain mill, and over that period of time, it would be in my mind, and I would think about it off and on, and different details about how I wanted it would come to me, Sometimes I wouldn't think solid on it for a couple years, and then it would just come. I'd start thinking about it, and then I'd say, oh yeah, that's how I need to make that work. And you can just buy parts, a lot of them made in China, and put something together, but that's not what I want to do. I want every piece of this thing to be as solid and dependable as it can be, because I don't really know of anything you can buy this day and time that's going to last 100 years. And I feel like with the way I'm doing this, these grain mills very well could go 100 years. A lot of the grain mills I work on, they're 100 years old. Some of the ones I've worked on are more like 150 years old. So there's ways to make things last. Maybe somebody gets a grain mill, they use it, their kids use it, their grandkids use it. Nothing would make me happier than that, and that's what I'm going to do. If I can't do it that good, I'm not going to do it, but I'm settled in my mind. I've got experience with what works and how long things last, and that's what's going to happen. That's how a Metcalf meal is going to be built, and I can't wait to show y'all. It will be a horizontal stone mill. It's a vertical. If you say not get confused in vertical or horizontal, that can kind of go both ways, because the vertical stone mills, the millstones stand up side by side. One rotates and the other's a bed stone. It stays still. One's a runner stone, one's a bed stone. That's vertical stones. But the mill lays down horizontal, like some of the ones I've showed in my videos, so it stretches out longer than it is tall. A horizontal stone mill, the stones lay flat. The bed stone is on the bottom, and the runner stone is on top, and the runner stone is the one that rotates. That's horizontal stones, but the mill stands up vertical because of the way it's built. So I just wanted to make that clear. It'll be a horizontal stone, vertical standing mill, and to begin with, there'll be two sizes, a small one and a large one, for different types of use. If somebody wants one for their home, or a small community wants to go in together, it'll work for that. And the larger one will be for communities, or maybe a bakery or a storefront or a business or something like that. They'll be both wood frame and a steel frame that's painted. Sometimes, if it's for food service in any way, sometimes inspectors will give you a problem and they won't let you use wood. I treat all my wood with something called BioShield on my milling equipment. It's a mixture of natural oils, and it seals the wood and makes it so that bacteria cannot grow. And I've never had a problem with inspectors having a problem with that, using that product. I mean, it's made, you can use it in kitchens, wooden countertops, cutting boards, whatever, salad bowls, anything. The mills will all have a stainless steel liner, because that keeps any wood inside maybe from coming off so much, but it just keeps everything clean, and it keeps things from wearing out, because grain, when it's coming out of millstones, if it's coarse and not just flour, if it's like cornmeal or grits, it wears the wood if there's any around it. So it'll have a stainless steel liner inside. It'll be, I'm hoping and trying to make it very appealing to the eye. So, in my opinion, it's going to look good. It'll have a hopper on top. The grain will come down into the stones, and there'll be a spout that the ground product comes out of. And the stones I'm using for this are native North Carolina granite stones. Balfour Pink is the type of granite. And it's one of the hardest granites in the United States. So I expect these things to last really well between stone dressings. And another thing is, how do I say this? Is that all of that question, pretty much?
I think so.
Okay, I hope we ain't missing too many, but I wanted to try to explain. I wanted to try to explain this as best I could. Hopefully, we're not missing a lot of comments from y'all. Also, the power source for this meal. If you buy a commercially produced meal right now, you only have one option to power that. And if I'm sorry to be redundant if you've heard this in my other video, but maybe somebody ain't, so I'll say it again. You can use different power sources for my meal. Maybe a tractor, a small engine, certain types of little lawnmowers or garden tractors could be used to power it. Also electric, if you wanted that, it could be set up that way. I'm kind of going to build a meal and then tailor it to whoever wants it to how they're planning on powering it. So if you're going to run it off a belt, off an engine or a tractor, and you don't need an electric motor, you don't have to buy an electric motor. It'll be tailored just for you. And like I say, they're going to be top quality.
KP said, I am looking forward to seeing this come to fruition. What is your timeline goal to get the first one done?
Oh yeah, that was the rest of that question. I'm hoping, it all depends because I've got work and I'm trying to catch up in the shop from when I couldn't work. And once I get that work done, I'll get kicked off on these meals. If my Kickstarter is successful, and the way that works, if you don't know, if you don't meet your goal, you don't get anything. So it's all or nothing. So if the Kickstarter is successful, we'll be turning on production on these meals as soon as I get stuff done in the shop. I'm hoping within a month. And if everything goes good and we can get everything we need, I'm trying to plan ahead right now and get stuff lined up to be ready when I need it. So if I get put off by somebody for 6 to 8 weeks, it could be a month or two after Kickstarter's going to end on the 22nd, I think. So maybe it could be like the 1st of July before we have one out, but it could be a lot sooner because I've been trying to do a few things the last few years to get ready to do this, but can't tell you exactly yet. It's going to be as soon as possible, and I've got a couple people wanting a meal right now, and one is going down to Mr. Danny and Wanda at Deep South. Mr. Danny and Miss Wanda, they've supported this and helped a lot, and really appreciate them more than I can say. Danny sent me some corn the other day, some of his Danny corn. If you're going to roast the corn, he said this is some of the best he's ever eaten, so you might want to look into that if they've got some to sell. Maybe he said he didn't have any for sale right now, but he will have at some point. But thank you, Mr. Danny, if you're watching, for that corn. I look forward to growing it, and I look forward to milling it, and I look forward to you milling it on one of our meals. So really tickled to try that out.
Lucy said, Virginia, you have a super cute haircut. Thank you
sweet?
so much. Back in October, I got it cut way too short, and it's just grew out now. So,
But I wish I could give you a more accurate date on that, but just it depends on how everything goes. If my Kickstarter is a success, it'll be a lot faster, and if not, it may be drawn out a little while, but I'm going to try with everything I've got to make this happen. It's a dream of mine to do it, and I'm real excited about doing it. So, and I appreciate all the support, and glad I can share it with you. I mean, it don't matter what you got if you can't share it. What good is it? So,
Chris MMMM777 said, "Have you thought about a price range for the small mill?"
I'm trying to work on that, and that's another thing that I'm gonna try to address is right now, if you buy something that's more than just a little countertop mill, and the problem with those, they run way too fast, and the stones heat up. Some of it's not even stones; it's synthetic or ceramic stones. They heat up, they get too hot, and that spoils your product before you ever get it out of the mill. You can't buy the size mill that I'm going to build. You can't buy that size mill without spending a pretty big chunk of money. Mine's going to be considerably less than what's on the market right now. Hopefully half the price or less if I can, if you go to buy something comparable to my mill. But it won't be comparable to my mill, honestly.
It says that our sound's breaking up.
Wonder what we missed.
What do you mean?
I mean, I wonder what they missed. I don't know what y'all missed, but make sure you stay on them comments and keep them rolling. So.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. We got good internet service here, but
at what RPM and horsepower is needed for the power?
on the small mill, that's another detail of a horizontal stone mill. You run it slower because of the way it functions. You can run it slower and you get a lot better product. The stones don't heat up by friction so much that it starts spoiling your product. It'll probably run anywhere from 100 to 300 RPMs. Horsepower requirement's probably going to be give or take 5 horsepower. Probably get by with less than that. I'll do some that's another thing. When I get one of these prototypes finished, I will do some tests and figure out exactly what works best, and I'll have all that information for you.
I will have spring break next week.
Virginia has spring break next week. You may have to talk loud so they can hear you.
That's
Don't skip none now. We gotta get them. That's interesting, Vicky Savage. That's a good idea.
Hey, Justin, I'm glad your live stream is working.
Me too, Ricky. Me too, buddy. I'm glad to be here and been looking forward to it.
I showed up a little late because of the time difference between Texas and
Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, no. I think
Back?
we're good. Yeah,
Okay, good.
I think.
I forgot about that alarm being on.
July is super fast. If it's worth the doing, it's worth the
Oh,
time
thanks,
to do it,
Leah.
right?
Thanks, Leah. We're gonna get it done. That's right.
Will the Kickstart link be in the video description?
I agree, KP. Like I said, I've been working on this idea 10 years right here, and I've got a lot of experience with the mills and the parts that I'm working with, so it'll be right, and it'll be as quick as I can get it done.
I'm one of those wanting a mill for myself and homestead group. I'm excited for you to get going.
Horticulture and homes, that's great.
Vicky Savage, viable seed is more valuable and precious than gold.
That's something else I hope these mills do. If somebody can't afford to buy one, and that's very understandable this day and time, maybe a group of people or a community can buy a mill and they can share it. And maybe they can stand around and grind grain and visit with their neighbors and not be watching Metcalf Mills on YouTubes and socialize and community-nize, I guess is the word.
Hey, Justin, Sharon, Virginia. I love this mill. So excited for you. Hey. That's just talking about how our sound cleared up. KP said, I was about to ask about the heating up, but I did miss the powering the mill. I couldn't understand what you said.
Okay, I'll go back over that power in the mill. It's going to be very versatile in how you can power it. Different options. It'll be electric motor if that's what you want. I can supply, or you can get your own if you can do that sort of thing. You can run it off your tractor if you get set up right off the PTO, or some of the older tractors already have a pulley mounted on the tractor that you can run it with. Any old engine, flywheel engines, hit and miss engines, any kind of a modern engine, as long as you have enough horsepower. And I'm working on some other ideas, 2 or 3 other ideas that would allow anybody to power my mill and work on my and operate one of my small grain mills without electricity, fuel, anything like that. I'm working on those ideas too. Not physically working, but working up here. So we're going to make it work for whoever it needs to work for.
Ruth Barrett, Justin, how long does it take field corn to grow?
Most field corn, you can find some flint corn that's as low as like maybe 70, 75 days, and then most field corn is 120 days. My Hickory King, I think the Jimmy Red might be a little less, but the Hickory King is 120-day corn.
I almost forgot to say hi from the South Cumberland Plateau.
Oh.
What will be the height of the mill?
There'll be different heights, but you'll be able to stand on the floor and very easily pour grain into the hopper.
Tell us about Tennessee.
I guess that's referring to
The trip.
the trip. T-Paul, I guess you're talking about the trip me and Billy took to Tennessee, or the event in Tennessee. I don't know much about the event. That'd probably be a better question for Billy. It's the Self-Reliance Festival is the name of it, and I think it's got a very limited number of spots available, if any's available right now. I'm hoping to be there, hoping it works out and I can be there. I know Billy's going to be there as far as I know, so.
Weird.
And I'm planning on being there myself with a mill to do some milling, if it's one of my old mills.
We are very interested in this, and may God bless and protect your family. Protect yourself and your family. There we go.
Thank you all for all the kind comments. We're getting a lot of them, and I appreciate every single one of them.
How's your Kickstarter going?
I've not looked at the Kickstarter. I've just been working and trying to promote it. I was on the phone yesterday about all day, just trying to do everything I can to encourage that Kickstarter and promote it. I've not even really looked at it, so I don't know how it's doing.
Design a treadmill adapter so some can exercise and regulate the speed of their workout and grinding corn.
It's a good idea, Kenneth. I may need that for myself, maybe. My overall's been getting a little tight here lately.
Terry Henderson, my theory, it's a computer. All computers need a hammer.
Yeah. Yep. All computers need a hammer. That's right.
Vicky Savage, Justin, you should be able to go back over the comments after you're done with the live stream. Brenda Arnold, Justin, you are a wonderful man and a good father. I want you to meet my daughter. Laugh out loud.
Oh, thanks, Brenda. I appreciate that. That's a really a kind comment to say. I've got 2 daughters, and I understand, and I appreciate that.
What's the smallest stones you're going to use?
Right now, I'm planning on it being 12-inch stones. That's the small mill. And in the olden days, that was really the size of a small commercial mill that would run at like 800 RPMs. And they was supposedly grind 3 to 5 bushels an hour, I think, running that high RPM, but we'll run slower and it'll still grind plenty of grain. I mean, it's probably a little extra size for a household, but I'm going to put one in my house, so.
Good evening, Brother Justin. I made it.
Hey, Homestead Pastor, glad to see you here, buddy. Glad to see everybody. Noble Brooks. Hey, Mr. Noble. Ruth Barrett, I answered her question.
Yeah. Oh, they can stand around.
That's a great idea. They can. I keep forgetting about this technology. They can watch me on their phone while they're using my meal. That's awesome.
Angelina Metcalf, fantastic project, Justin.
Thank you, Angelina, over in the old country. Hey.
Phil Quarter depends on the variety, maturity, 70 to 120 days.
Okay.
Jimmy
If
Red
it
is
ain't a
110
question,
days.
you don't have to read it unless it's a comment.
Like how
Windmill power, urban white buffalo. Yeah, that's great. Problem here where I live, the wind's not dependable enough. Most of the time it's blowing so hard you couldn't really harness it. It'd probably tear your windmill down, but it's either that or nothing most of the time. We don't have very much of a good breeze. Yeah, they're Harry the Woolly Man. That's my buddy Wayne. I've thought about building a tub mill. I want to build a tub wheel. I'm going to build a tub wheel one day and make a video on that when I take the time and things aren't so busy. But if you don't know, a tub wheel is essentially a wooden turbine. So it's a big round wooden wheel, and it's cut out like fan blades, and you force the water down there, and it would drive millstones. That's how they did it in the olden days.
The event said we had to get tickets.
Okay.
Do you grow
einkorn? I have einkorn seed, and I'm going to try to get seed started and maybe keep adding to my seed from other people. I have a meal that I sold to an Amish man in Virginia, and their community, they're going to grow like 30 acres of einkorn, and I'm hoping to get enough from them for seed. So there is some people growing einkorn, and that's like the daddy of all wheats, I think they say.
Saw someone using poplar wood for their mill. Is there an advantage to southern yellow pine?
Terry, a lot of the old farm equipment was built out of yellow pine, good forest pine. If you use poplar, I would use more of the, as poplar's got the sap ring, I would try to get all that sap ring off and just use, I guess you'd call the heartwood. Not that sapwood that's out on the outer ring, but the heartwood. I think you'd be good with that. Poplar's considered a hardwood.
Ruth Barrett asked, did the PayPal go to you okay?
Ruth, I think so. Thank you very much. We appreciate that so much. Appreciate everybody. It's absolutely just, I'm overwhelmed. A lot of people, I'm blessed because a lot of people's got dreams and they got nobody to help, nobody cares about them, and they have to do it all themselves. And the opportunity of sharing my dream and so many people getting excited about it and wanting to support it and wanting to help, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed by that. And I feel like this dream will come true. And I'm going to work as hard as I can, as long as I can, to make it come true. And I know it's going to help people. And I don't know if I can convey this to you if you don't know, but a meal is very special. I don't know why, but it gets in your blood. George Washington had a grain meal, a grist mill. After he kind of retired back to Mount Vernon, he went to his meal every single day. And it's in his journal how he improved that meal, and it's working order, and how he changed things and upgraded. But he visited his meal, it was either the day of or the day before he died. So this milling gets in your blood. There's nothing like it. You take a raw grain and you run it between two rocks, and you make some of the best tasting food and products, and the smell of it, it gets in your blood. And if you ever have the opportunity, or if you get a meal someday, you'll understand what I'm saying. And back to my dreams, I'm overwhelmed with how people are wanting to help and support, and I just can't tell you how I feel about it. But I know a lot of people have dreams, and they want to see their dreams come true. And if you're one of those people that's got dreams and you're hoping they come true, I just want you to know that it's not your dreams that make you who you are. It's your love that does. And I hope your dreams come true.
Ronald Cummings, you should get Jason from Sutherland to draw up the blueprints.
Thanks for that suggestion. I know Jason. I think a lot of Jason.
Thank you, Roger.
Hey, cuz, Angelina, over in England. Hey. So glad you're here. I appreciate you. I know you're excited about this.
Are you going to sell some Hickory King seed for planting soon?
Yes, I will. You know, I've been trying to figure out an Etsy store, and I'm not real good on that stuff, and I do it all on my phone, and a lot of times you can't get all the options on your phone. I'm going to try to get a computer sometime soon and maybe try to do all that. But if anybody wants Hickory King seed, Jimmy Red seed, this is the Jimmy Red right here. It's a red corn. Some of it's lighter, some of it's darker. It makes great cornmeal and grits. Also, if you grind it fine, it makes the best like batter to kind of roll your fish in. It makes really good batter for fish and chicken when it's ground up fine. If you want Hickory King seed, Jimmy Red seed, Georgia rattlesnake watermelon seed. I just hadn't been able to get this up to advertise, but if you want any of those, if you'll just look down there and either email me, or if I can maybe make a post or a video, well, that probably wouldn't work good. If you want seed, just contact me and I'll get you seed. I've sent some seed out already, and I'm sorry that I hadn't done better on that. I apologize to y'all.
My New Tennessee home asked how big a drop and flow is needed to power your mill with water well.
Usually on the tub wheels, is that a tub wheel? Oh, a water wheel. You need, that's another experiment I'm going to be doing with my small mill, is checking out the flows on water and exactly how much it takes to make that mill operate. So that's a question everybody has. You do have to have a certain amount of water, move it at a certain velocity, and I don't know the exact numbers on that, but that's going to be experiments that Metcalf Mills is going to do and get some information out to people. And you can build what's called a weir dam in your stream. And what it does, essentially, it forces the stream through a measured opening, and you can measure that and get an idea of what your flow is. And I'll have videos about all that in the future.
Farm 26 asked, how much iron corn would you be looking for?
I'd have to think about that. But if you've got some, I'd definitely be interested in getting some from you. I'll probably have to do some figuring. I hadn't done any figuring because I didn't have access to the grain. So I can do some figuring, and if you can, I don't know how to contact you, but if you could mention that again in the next week or so, I'll try to have a figure and we can talk about it. Comment or email me or whatever. I've tried to put more information in my description so that folks can contact me.
Noah Cashmere. Hi, Justin. Do you know yet about how much your new mini mill will cost?
Noah, I was talking about that a minute ago. I don't have an exact number. What I'm trying to do is make that meal as affordable as possible. These times right now especially, so that folks can own one. And if one person still can't afford it, maybe some folks can collaborate and get a meal, and maybe that will even encourage community. The last while, our community, especially after meeting the folks down at Permapasture, Billy, Michelle, and William, it's just, we need community. Danny down at Deep South, me and Billy went over to Tennessee and picked up some parts for his tractor, a planter that he couldn't find anywhere else. We palleted it up and shipped it to him. And community don't necessarily mean the folks right around you, although that's wonderful. They're your closest. If you needed somebody, they're the closest people to you. So I just want to encourage community far and wide as well as near. You know, I want to see people work together and grind grain and make bread. I hope this promotes people to bake. I'm a big fan of wood-fired ovens. I hope to have something about that on my channel one day.
Homestead Jen asked, Justin, can you do a video about growing dent corn?
I will. I started my channel last year, and I think like the first part of July, and corn was already way up. But yeah, I'm planning on doing that this year. I'm going to get every step of the way in there, Jen. I appreciate you asking that question.
Marion, thank you for trying to help the people. God bless you.
God bless you, Marion. God bless all you folks out there. You're such a blessing.
Brenda Arnold, thank you, Virginia, for reading my comment. My daughter is true Christian, never married, but she has a 16-year-old son. They need someone like you.
Thank you for them blessings, Brenda. I pray that your daughter and you are blessed as well. Thank you so much. Hey, Will. Hey, Will. That's William down at Permapasture. He's watching us. Thank you, buddy.
Hi, Justin, Virginia. Listening to you here and in
JT in New Hampshire, I guess. Howdy, JT. Glad to hear from you. Glad you're watching. Thank you.
Prudence, where can I find the link for your Kickstarter?
It is in the comments on the Kickstarter, not the comments, I'm sorry, in the description on the video that I made and put out yesterday morning or yesterday midday, I think. It's in the description of that video. Thank you. Hey, Marion in Southeast Texas.
My new Tennessee home, if you ever get up to South Indiana, you should check out Spring Mill State Park. They have a working 1800s water-powered grist mill.
Wow. Thank you, my Tennessee home. I think Spring Mill had a problem with the main shaft of their water wheel last year, or back in the winter, and I talked to the folks that runs that about what they needed to do to fix that or repair it. I'm hoping they found somebody that can fix it for them. But they had a crack in their main big, like 18-inch wooden shaft for their water wheel, and they was having big problems. I hope they got that fixed, but I do want to visit that mill if I ever get a chance. thank everybody for these comments. I don't want to miss a one, but what was that?
What? Virginia, you're going to help your dad with all the computer work. I'm sure you were up on all the latest technology. I actually am not. I don't do a lot of technology stuff. Can you use sweet corn for grinding?
No, sweet corn, what you'll get on sweet corn, the sugar content keeps it kind of gummy, and when you mill that, Mr. Janser over there, that I done a video on it, taught me about dressing millstones. Him and his wife tried milling corn once, and it just kind of glazed up the stones, made them kind of sticky and gummy, and it made a big mess. They had a hard time cleaning the stones off, so you can't do that.
My tablet died.
I'm sorry, you'll have to do something else, baby. I didn't know it was low, or we could have charged it up.
And I'm hungry.
Hey, down in Alabama, it's AFJ3RD. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate you, and I hope you get a meal someday. That'd be awesome.
I'm hungry.
It's just Rose live stream. Oh, it's over.
Over, Michael F. It's over here. Over.
Back in the olden days, Minneapolis, where I am now, was the flour milling capital of the world. They ran mills 24 hours a day for decades. Here.
Wow.
I'm hungry.
I'm going to try to get through these comments and not bore you with sitting here looking at this phone. But, that's interesting, that urban white buffalo farmer. They ran their mill for 24 hours a day. Very interesting. I've heard stories like that. Noah Cashmere, my email is, it's in the description of my latest videos. Just, J-U-S-T, calf, C-A-L-F, justcalf@gmail.com. Linda, I hope you got that, justcalf@gmail.com. That's my email. Check and see if we missed any questions. I hope we didn't.
Okay, I don't think we did because I wouldn't scroll on until you answered one.
Something else that I was going to announce on my live 2 weeks ago is I started a Patreon, and that was the first thing I did. The Patreon was going to help pay and support this meal project. That was before we got this Kickstarter together and everything. So that's there. I've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 videos over there on Patreon. If you want to, I've got a low tier bracket. And like I say, it's all going to this meal project. So
I don't think we've missed any.
okay. I wanted to do a little something since this is our first live. Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but I wanted to explain Justro, because a lot of people ask me, is your name Justin or is it Justro? So I wanted to explain that to y'all. All my life, my mom called me Justro. She'd say, Justro? And we lost Mother last year, and it just kind of come to me. I wanted to keep that going, so I said, well, I'll just start identifying myself as Justro on my channel. So now I'm getting things in the mail that says Justro. So I wish Mom could hear about that, and I reckon she can. Something else I wanted to do, this may be We'll try it and see how it works. I know Danny and Wanda, and I think Billy and them, they give away something on their lives. And I wanted to give away a bag of corn. And on short thinking of this, the only way I could figure to do that is tell you a little riddle that my dad used to say a lot. And you have to listen very closely. And whoever the first person is to respond with the correct answer to this riddle, I'm going to send you a bag of this Jimmy red corn. And it'll be enough that you can meal it or make cornmeal and grits out of it or plant it or whatever you want to do. But I want to give away a bag of corn on this first live and use this little riddle that my dad would say to people a lot. So listen carefully. As I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. He tipped his hat and drew his cane. In this riddle, I told you his name. What was it? If you leave your answer in the comments and you're correct, I'll send you a bag of this Jimmy red corn. And if that's too hard and I need to repeat it, I will. The comments froze or what?
I don't know. I just don't think anyone said anything.
As I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. He tipped his hat and drew his cane. In this riddle, I told you his name. What was it? Put a comment there. Say, can you hear us? We're not seeing comments.
Okay.
Put a question mark after us. Thanks, Virginia. We're not seeing comments. I don't know what's going on, but Urban White Buffalo got it. Just got a text from Will. Thanks, Will, because I don't know what's going on, but we can't see comments. Get that back down like it was so we can see them.
There's not. Yeah, it didn't send. Just completely clear that.
Virginia's working on this. Something happened in our comments. We're not coming through, but William said Urban White Buffalo Farmer got that, and I'll look back on the comments.
Okay, here we go.
Whoa. Yep. The first one on my feed, and I guess this varies depending on your internet service and phone service and a lot of other things, but Urban White Buffalo Farmer, you got a bag of this corn coming to you, buddy. I don't think I have your shipping address, so if you can email it to me or whatever, get it to me somehow, that'd probably be the best way. I'll get this corn coming to you. And a couple other people have got some Hickory King corn seed coming as well. What did we miss on the...
I know, that's where I scrolled up to.
Okay, you're right there?
Yep.
Okay. My new Tennessee home, you like the word of the day videos, that's one of my favorite. It's fun, and I was thinking sometimes it takes a lot of time to get it all together, and I was thinking we're starting to get in the busy season. Maybe I ought to end the season of this word of the day Wednesday. And as soon as I thought that, somebody sent me a comment, and they said, I look forward to your word of the day Wednesday every week. So I thought, dang, I can't quit this now.
Debbie asked, will you be selling any milled grain in the future?
That's another thing that we're getting together as well, and I hope to do that. I hope to get inspected and be able to legally sell some milled product, cornmeal grits, some flour, cracked wheat, that kind of thing. Also, me and Billy were talking about that very thing, so it may be a collaboration. Most likely, it's what it'll be.
Ruth Barrett asked, when do you plant field corn? Does it like hot weather?
I plant my field corn. The old people said plant it the last week of April or the first week of May. And they also said they've been planting corn before and it be snowing on them. So, and if that bud gets out of the ground and it comes a freeze, it'll kill your corn. So I try to judge it maybe the first week of May. Around here we've had killing frost up to like the 23rd of May. So you have to be careful with it. But probably 2 weeks before your last frost date or something like that. Well, I don't know about last frost date. That was extreme last frost date when we got one the 23rd of May. But as early as you can, and mine always does better the earlier I get. And then if I have problems and replant, and crows come in and tear it up and I replant, the replant corn never does good like the corn that I planted first.
Vicky Savage asked, I have heard that popcorn can be milled into flour. Is that so?
Popcorn?
Yeah.
Popcorn.
Yeah, popcorn. I've heard of people, Vicky. I've heard of people milling popcorn. They say it makes a pretty good cornmeal.
Will said Charlotte laughing emoji. William's laughing.
Linda, the coons around here, most of the time my corn can get pretty dry. They don't ever bother my field corn until it starts dry, until it's about almost dried out, and then they'll get in there. But I'm kind of lucky with coons, but about all I know to keep them out is either electric, if you can do an electric fence around it, or live traps. You might be able to get some that way.
Tommy Blanchard, do you send grits through the mail?
Tommy, I'm trying to get set up and inspected so that we can send some ground product out eventually. And when I do, I'll be sure and announce that. And I'd love for y'all to get some good grits and cornmeal and flour and cracked wheat. That stuff is so good. It's unlike anything else. If you've not had fresh milled grains to eat, you just don't know what it is. It's just, you can't eat the old store-bought shelf stable or shelf unstable stuff anymore. It spoils you.
Kenneth Sword, can you explain dent corn versus other corns?
Yeah, dent corn and flint corn, I'm not a big authority on that kind of thing, but the dent corn, as you know, they call it dent corn because it's got that little dent in the end of the grain. Flint corn is usually a lot shorter growing season. I think maybe the flint corn is maybe more like a native type corn, but they say all corn started and come from South America, Mexico. So that's where corn originated from, and that's probably about my extent of knowledge on it. I should know more. I apologize. You get all them comments and kind words and what'd she say? What'd Lee say?
Just telling me to go out and come back in, and then she was like, dang, she won't see that.
While she's looking through these comments, I wanted to say one more time, and I know some of you are probably tired of hearing about it, but I'm excited about it and I want to talk about it. So I talked to this lady in Texas. She lives in an apartment building in Waco, and she said her and her kids was kind of sickly, and she got to doing some research, and she got a little hand grinder and started grinding her own wheat, her own grain fresh. And her and her kids, she started making bread and they started eating this freshly milled grain. And she said it healed them. I'm going to try to get her to write up her story so I can share that story in what I'm doing and just give people a good example and a testimony about how good fresh milled grain is for you. And like I was saying in my video the other day, a grain is like a little capsule. It's like a jar of maters or a jar of pickles or a jar of pork or deer or something. It'll keep and stay as long as it's sealed up and not open. But when you open that grain, the germ has unsaturated fats in there, and they start causing that to go rancid and ruin as soon as you crack it. So you got a limited amount of time before that it ruins and you know it spoils. And like I said, within 24 hours you're going to lose about 40% of the nutritional value in there. The vitamins, the light and the air starts deteriorating the vitamins and you're losing those. 3 or 4 days later, you've lost 85 or 90% of the value of that grain. So that's why it's so important to be able to mill this. When they thought it was a big deal commercializing grain production, they separated the grain of wheat out to nothing, just the endosperm is what they got out of it, and everything else went somewhere else. The reason for that was, one reason for that was that endosperm, they could put it in a bag and throw it on the shelf and it would lay there for a long time without spoiling because it don't have any nutritional value in it. It don't have anything to spoil. That's probably a reason it's not good for you by itself. It is a reason it's not good for you by itself. So we're going to try to do something about that here at Metcalf Mills, get more meals out in communities and get people grinding grain and eating fresh stuff, and I hope it helps us. I mean, she said I'll let her finish her testimony, but the health benefits from this fresh milled grain, as much as I'm in this and love it, it just amazed me to hear her story, and I look forward to sharing it with y'all.
Prudence asked Charlotte, do you have a favorite book to read?
I have the dinosaur back home.
She says she has a favorite book. It's about dinosaurs.
Do you ever plant any greasy beans?
No, but I do plant greasies. I've got some good greasy seed, and I've been growing these a year or two. I'll have to check into my seed. The thing about beans, you got to get them pretty quick because if you let them hang there after they die and a lot of people let them dry out on the vine. That's not a good idea because I guess the grain flies or whatever it is comes in there and they lay eggs in the crevices of those bean holes, and they'll go in your beans and you'll get them out, and next thing you know, these things come out of your beans and they've ruined your beans. I have planted beans that had weevils in them and they come up and grew fine, but I don't like it. So you got to get your beans out quick. I wanted to add that in, but yeah, I do grow some greasies.
Does Hickory King corn grind good?
Hickory King grinds really good. It's
not Hickory King, Hickory cane.
Huh?
Not
Hickory cane. I've got some hickory cane seed. I've never milled any of it. I don't know, but I imagine it would. It's a good hard white corn, so I imagine it would mill good.
Will both?
Right here's a book that's Charlotte's favorite, and actually, this book was illustrated by one of our good friends, Joshua Warren, and it was a gift from one of our good friends and to Charlotte, and she loves this book. If you've got young kids, you need to look it up and get it for them if you can. It's called Little Dinosaurs on a Big Ark, and a friend of ours illustrated it, and it was given to Charlotte by another friend. Thank you, Trish. There you go, baby. Thank you. Thank you.
Will both of your mills be able to screen the ground grain, or will that be a separate process?
Horticulture and homes, that's a good question. My mills will be able to separate the grain after it's milled if you want that. You can either have whole grain right out of the spout, or you'll be able to separate it right off of the mill, and it'll be part of the same unit. So,
William Wilkerson, how far apart do you plant your hickory king rose?
I like to plant my rose. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because if you plant them too wide, let the clock finish. It's a double-edged sword because if you plant the rose too wide, they won't shade the ground and keep weeds from growing as good. And if you get them too close, it's not good for the corn. Last year, I planted mine on 4-foot row space, and this year I may back it up to 3-foot row spacing. So 3 or 4 foot, I like good spaced apart rows. It lets air flow in. Stuff does a lot better. You have to work a little harder on weed control sometimes. And in my plant spacing, in the row spacing, I like to plant about 18 inches apart. Because this corn plant, it's a huge plant. This hickory king grows maybe 14, 15 foot tall, and it's got a great big stalk, and it's like a little tree, kind of, so you don't want to crowd it up. You want that big plant to have plenty of room and grow them big old long ears of corn for you. So,
KP said, would you consider selling sifters for the grains? No one seems to have them specifically for those types of grains to separate grits and meal flour.
yes, I absolutely will. A standalone sifter, I think, is what you're asking about. So if you've already got a mill, could I sell you a standalone sifter that could work in conjunction with that mill to separate your ground product? Yes, I can. That'll be something else that comes along with these mills and kind of goes with that. Absolutely.
Okay, well, hold on.
Okay.
Deep South Homestead, hello Metcalf family.
Charlotte's got an empty. Charlotte don't have a bottom in her belly this evening. She's still wanting to eat, so.
Maybe I want to jump on trampoline.
Well, we got to finish this live. We got a lot of people here. We got 139 people watching us.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wait on our snacks, girl. You've had supper and snacks and everything.
Perhaps.
Let's see.
But this video is taking so long.
No, it ain't.
Yes,
This is our first live, and we're gonna let it. Is Danny and Wanda? There's Danny and Wanda. Hey, Danny and Wanda.
Oh, I said.
Say hey, Danny and Wanda.
Hey, Danny and Wanda.
Hey,
I told
Danny
you.
and Wanda.
Our friends down at Deep South, we watched them live last night. If you don't know them, check them out. We're glad you're here on this live. Glad to have you, folks. We appreciate y'all. And Danny, I watched your video this evening about unwrapping your tractor parts. I commented. I knew what was in that package, but I was really excited when you was unwrapping it, so I enjoyed that video.
Thank you, Ricky.
What's that about einkorn?
Einkorn is the healthiest grain. People who are gluten intolerant can eat it. I bake bread every week with einkorn. It's getting hard to find and expensive. I will email you.
Okay. Don't know what I'm doing farm. Thank you.
We plan to grind Danny corn this fall. So, Homestead.
Homestead pasture. That's awesome. I think Billy had said something about fermenting the grains or soaking them or something, so that's great. What did Ricky Broom say? Lisa said. Ricky Broom said something. I can't see.
What did she say?
She said what Ricky Broom said.
Yeah. This one.
Oh. Commenting you, girl.
I know. I said thank you.
Okay, well, I'm trying to talk and pay attention. I can't do both at the same time.
What
I
kind
reckon.
of meal is good to start milling as far as on a personal level?
I want graham crackers.
Tammy Fly, I honestly don't know. The only thing I've worked with is stone meals down to about an 8-inch. My smallest will be a 12-inch, and it will be big enough for a small community use. Stone milling, there's nothing better than that, and it's kind of like, you know, if you don't have rocks, you can't do a good job, I guess. But, I mean, it works. There's a lot of people. I'm not saying it don't work. I'm just saying this is what I've got experience in, and I can't recommend anything else to you. There's several small household meals on the market, but I can't recommend any to you because I don't have any experience with them. If anybody else does, by all means comment and help out with answering that question and any question. Marion, thank you for that comment. If you'll check that comment out, she's recommending a small grain mill. Danny and Wanda talked about that last night. That's right. I'd forgot about that. The Victoria grain mill. What's that?
My new Tennessee home, I'd love to get some greasy bean seeds. 10 to 20 seeds would be enough to get started.
Okay, just email me there what you'd like with seeds, and I'll do my best. If I have some greasies that don't have weevil damage, I'll send you some, but I don't want to send, for several different reasons, bean seeds that's got weevils in them, so.
Will you grow wheat?
I'm growing some wheat right now that my grandparents have been growing around here. I think over 100 years. It's called Red Clawson, and my dad talked about it growing up. My grandpa quit growing it when Dad was a little boy, and I didn't know the name of it. They couldn't remember what the name of it was, and one of my cousins, he remembered one day what the name of that wheat was, and he called me and he told me, and I started hunting for the seed. And I found some at that time, but like 25 grains was $4. And that's like, it'd take you years to get enough for a crop starting out that small. But I found another place, I think it's Great Lakes Staple Seeds. They had some of that, and I was able to get a decent little amount. And me and Will from Permapastures planted some down in the bottom where I farm. And it's growing good. I'm going to have an update on it this week, hopefully. But it's taken off good. I planted it back in the fall. It overwintered, and it's coming out of there. And hopefully we can harvest it maybe in July sometime or June.
Ruth Barrett asked, what do you use for fertilizing corn?
About everything I grow. I don't use anything for fertilize. If I can get some manure that don't have Grazon or any other chemicals in it, and I can confirm that, I'll use manure. But most of the time, I don't use anything really. I like to use mushroom compost, and I was talking to Danny at Deep South the other day about the black cow manure that you can buy, and that I found out from him has Grazon in it, so it should be all right on corn, but you wouldn't want to put it on other things. But I usually don't. I mean, I try to cover crop. If you cover crop right, you can do a lot to amend your soil. Like the last time that I cultivate my corn, I didn't last year. I just had too much going on with my dad was sick and whatnot, and I was having to look after him. I didn't do this last year, but when I cultivate my corn, I like the last time I cultivate, come back through and sow red clover in there, and it comes up and makes a nice bed, and it don't hurt anything, and you've got a cover crop growing, so when the corn's gone, you got a nice clover bed there. That's what I like to do. And then cover crop, try to not grow corn and high feeding crops on the same spot. Try to rotate around, like a 4-year rotation is good.
Hey, Shar.
Yeah?
What's your favorite dessert?
Ice cream.
Ice cream, Ashley, ice cream. Or James, I don't know. That's James or Ashley now. I just assumed Ashley. KP. That's good. there's one system like that. It's called the Three Sisters. You got your corn, and you got your beans or running plants growing on your corn. Then you got your vine pumpkins or squash on the ground. That's a good system.
How do you plan on powering the new mill?
Yeah, Charlotte's growing and she wants to eat all the time, which that's good with me because I like to eat all the time too. That girl can't. That's right, Leah. She could eat that. Let's don't tell her that, but she could do that. Noah Cashmere. This mill is going to be versatile. You can either use your tractor to power it if you got the right hookup on the back, an engine, a flywheel engine, hit and miss engine, a modern motor, small engine, anything that you can get a belt on, you can pretty much power your mill with. If you want it electric, it'll come with an electric motor, plug and play, I guess you could say. Yeah, it sure did, Carolyn Smith. I saw that. Danny was really excited to get that. It made my day, how happy he was about opening that big package. Yep, a steel burr mill will do it, Farm 26, but you'll be disappointed. That stone I was talking about the other day, when you dress that stone after you get done dressing it, you can feel it with your hands, and it's like small burrs. That stone kind of shears that grain like a bunch of little pairs of scissors. And I don't know what it does flavor-wise, but it does something for sure. You can't beat it. Oh, Jenna. Jenna Zempleman. I hope I said that right. Thank you so much. I'm glad. That's what I hope to do. I hope to help. If I can't help.
Hey, Shar.
Yeah?
What's your favorite one of our pets?
Penny.
Penny?
Penny the feist dog. And I'm going to have a little video about Penny here before too long. She's our little feist dog.
I am not.
Mountain feist.
I am not driving.
Desta Cooper. Hey, Desta Cooper. I love y'all up in Ohio. Yeah, I've got a few recipes. My mom, she really just cooked. She didn't necessarily have recipes unless it was something she made like once a year, zucchini bread or something at holidays. But yeah, absolutely. I'll get some recipes of Mom's out. Yeah, I will. If you don't see them in a while, remind me.
My new Tennessee home.
Thank you for that comment, my new Tennessee home. I appreciate that. I've tried to do my best with these girls, and I ain't got no complaints, so.
How close are Red Clawson and Red Fife?
Farm 26, I don't know. That's a good question. Red Clawson is a soft winter wheat, and it was bred, I think, in 1887 or 1889 by Mr. Jones up in New York. I don't know about the Red Fife. I have been part of growing some Red Fife, I think. But I don't know much about it. J.M. Bagby. I don't know the exact price yet, but it's going to be at least half, or at most half of what a commercial meal equivalent to that size would cost you today. And I want to say it's going to be a whole lot durable and better quality, in my opinion. Yeah, Mom used to do what she called leather britcher beans, Brenda, on a string, and she'd let them dry and fix them that way. Yep. Lloyd Fortner, anytime, buddy. Holler at me. Several people's got my number around in our community, so you can send me a message on one of the social media things, Instagram or Facebook. You're gonna have to move, baby. You're getting in front of the camera. Let's see.
I want some crab
KP, that's a good idea. Field peas next to your corn. I use field peas a lot of time in cover crops. Yeah, they do. Farm 26. Ice cream, Strand Farm. Thanks for sharing about the seeds horticulture in homes. I hope that helps somebody. Good evening, Miss Opal. Yeah, I hear you, Kenneth. Kyle, my stones are Salisbury pink granite, native North Carolina stones, and it's Balfour pink is the name. And it's one of the hardest granites in the U.S. And there's a bunch of different granites, and it's right there at the top of being the hardest. And it's local to me, so I love, and the stones are pink. They got a pretty pink color. When they're, I'll show you. I'll go over those stones sometime on a video. I'll try to do that this week, and I'll show y'all some of these stones and how they look, and hopefully my camera will let you see what I see. They're beautiful the way they got little flecks in there, and I can't wait to mill some grain with them.
James asked if you could run the mill with a bicycle.
That's a great idea, James. That's a great idea. I've been thinking a little bit about that myself. Brenda Arnold. Yeah, Danny and Wanda, they're great. I love Danny and Wanda. They've been super helpful to us, and trying to help every way they can with this project, and they're excited to get a mill and start using it. Yeah, they're tops, that's for sure. Carolyn Smith, I've actually been thinking about that as well. That could be an option. I've got to talk to some folks that know solar, but it would be possibly a viable thing to do if I can get it figured out exactly how to do it. I think you might have to have a lot of panels to generate enough power to do that, or maybe a battery bank or something, but I'm going to try to do some experimenting with that in the future as well. How long do the stones last? My new Tennessee home, I've dressed millstones that, almost every one I deal with is 80 or 100 years old. Some of them's over 100 years old. I have dressed millstones in a mill that's 150 years old, so it depends. Some of them are wore quite a bit. Some of them are not wore that bad, but it just depends on how much you're milling, how you're milling, what you're milling. There's so many variables there that can determine how long a set lasts. But I've got my great grandpa's mill, and the stones in it would probably last Charlotte as long as she lives. Probably they're not hardly wore at all. So it just depends. Different rocks, even different stones, they're going to last longer because some are harder than others. It's kind of impossible to answer, I think. Shouting at clouds, I have not. I'm not aware right now of where one would be. Miss you too, Desta Cooper. I hope to see y'all one of these days. Glenn, bears, yeah, sometimes bears can damage your corn, and I've even had them sneak down and eat my corn after I got it harvested if I'm not careful. If my barn door was open or something, they could get in there. Do you believe some people around here, I think, grow rhubarb? I'll tell you a little story real quick about rhubarb. I worked for this family, our neighbors, when I was growing up, and the lady, she cooked on a wood cook stove, real good cook, good food. And we had been, I think, spreading fertilizer by hand that day on some steep hills. And we come in for dinner, and I sit down and I eat a belly full of food. And then one of her daughters brought me about a quarter of a rhubarb pie. I mean, it was a huge piece of rhubarb pie. And I guess rhubarb pie's all right, but on a full belly. And I was too bashful to say I didn't want to eat that pie after she got it for me. And I sat there and I ate every bite of that on a full belly. And I haven't liked rhubarb since. So I don't know. I don't even grow it. Thank you, J.M. Bagby. Yeah, somebody said hit the like button. That'd be great on this first live if we could get plenty of likes on here. Yeah, I do, Brenda Arnold. They're my neighbors. They're not my next door, but they might as well be. Billy and Michelle are our neighbors. And what great neighbors they are. They're just wonderful. I could sit here and I could keep you here all night talking about Billy and Michelle and their family. And I will say this. Last year, we lost my mother and dad, and my grandparents are gone. They lived across the road from us. And, you know, we've been here so long, and everybody's kind of gone now. And then I was telling Billy the other day, just a little while before Dad passed away, we met Billy and Michelle, and I know the Lord sent them our way because it was a time that we would pretty much be all alone. And I mean, it's all right, but being used to having somebody around all the time, I wasn't looking forward to it. And they've been so good to us, just like family. And the girls, you know, they love them. And it's just, I'm so thankful for our neighbors. And it was a perfect timing, just a perfect timing to get good friends.
Hey, Char, what's your favorite color?
Purple.
Purple? I have a lot of favorite colors. I don't know if I have a favorite. I like purple. I like a lot of colors. I like red a lot.
I like red, too. Well,
Catherine, did you tell them what she said?
I like purple and
Yeah.
mixed
Okay.
up with blue.
Catherine, thank you so much for letting us know that. That makes my day again. That you're doing some canning, and it's from something I shared, and that helps you to can and put up some good food. I'm so happy to hear that. Riverside Acres, where can we purchase wheat berries? There's a few places around. I hear people saying it's going to be running out. I'm kind of working on that a little bit. I may be able to help with that a little later. I don't know yet. I can't promise you anything, but we'll see how it goes. It's just, things are kind of crazy, and it's hard to get some things. So that's why you got to grow it. Don't mow the grass. Go hoe the garden, folks. Don't mow the grass, hoe the garden. KP, yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
She'll have to make a list so she can remember. I know what I'm going to do. That's a good idea, shouting at clouds. That might be helpful for somebody there. I may check on that. I've never tried to mill rice, Kyle. I don't know how that would do, but I'm going to find out. Oop, I can't. No, Brenda, I'm working on that flu, but, well, I was working on it, and I got sick and had to do other things, but now it's getting to the point that we're not going to need it so much for heating, but I am going to get it done and get our new cook stove put up, and I'll share all that with you as soon as I start working on it. Thank you, Desta Cooper, for sharing that. That's good information. There's some people wondering about solar. It's a good idea, T-Pile. They just had a big seed swap in Pikeville, Kentucky this weekend, and I like going to it, but we didn't get to this year. But they had a huge seed swap, all kind of seeds. If you don't know about it, it's the Pikeville, Kentucky Seed Swap, I think is what they call the event. You need to check on it. It's awesome. Yeah, I hear you, Strand Farm. That pie is, my belly's starting to growl a little bit hearing that pie talk.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Horticulture and Homes, about where to get the wheat berries. Ty Scott, God's timing is always perfect. That's exactly right. Southern Lady, that would be fun. Going too fast, honey.
When it was to the bottom, it wasn't going any further.
Oh, okay. Kenneth Sword, solar has too many variables to have a solid answer using it to power a mill. Yeah, it makes sense from what I've heard. Yeah, Skip, it will be, buddy. It's coming. Trey, yeah, we just had a little glitch. You had to sign in on a computer and do some stuff before it'd let you go live on the phone, and I still had to wait 24 hours, but we finally got it done and figured out, and now we're good to go, and hopefully we won't have that problem again. Ain't nothing like getting excited about going live and talking to people and then not getting to. That was a big disappointment. Yeah, the girls help cook. Virginia's a good cook. She can cook a lot of things, and she learned some from my mother when she was around her, and I'm trying to teach her a little bit now and then. But she'll want to make something, and she'll research and learn how to make it. So she's ambitious about cooking, and she started taking pictures. She does some beautiful photography, and
I do not know how to cook on a wood stove. I've never been around one that much to.
Yeah, I had one when Virginia was a little baby girl, and then we quit using it, and we're getting back to it. I'm looking forward to the next winter with a wood cook stove. Strand Farm, I bet you're staying warm. Jeff Boyer, how you doing, buddy? Jeff Boyer is one of the first people that I did a meal restoration for, and he brought his meal to me on a pallet in pieces, no wood, and we got him fixed up, and I think he had a couple little problems with getting everything adjusted on his power source, but I think he's been grinding corn. I hope so. Bless you too, Kyle. Thank you. Yeah, my new Tennessee home, I'm talking about all these things. That's Metcalf Mills stuff. That's not my personal stuff. My personal list is real small. That's all Metcalf Mills jobs. bet that was a fun show, shouting at clouds. Amish equipment sale. Yeah, Tammy Fly, I will. I've been sending out a little bit of corn. I was trying to get an Etsy store set up, and I don't know if it's trying to do it on the phone or what. I never could make it work like I wanted it to. So if you email me with what you want, I've got Hickory King corn seed, Jimmy Red corn seed, Georgia rattlesnake watermelon seed. Need to get them out to you as soon as possible. Just email me with what you want, and I'll tell you about price, and we'll figure shipping out, and I'll get them to you one way or another, absolutely. And I take several different things. You can pay several different things, whatever's easiest for you, but we'll get them to you, no problem. Tracy, glad you're here. Bless you too, Skip. Thank you, buddy. John, right now what we're doing is a fundraiser, a Kickstarter to get this project off the ground and going, and I'm going to use that money to put into the producing these meals. My goal is, I'm not so much a business minded about this, I'm people minded. I want to help people and make it so that people can grind grain. So I don't know if you mean like a business partner or something, but right now I'm not. I'm just trying to get this. Hopefully this Kickstarter is going to make things go a lot faster if it's successful. So we're working hard on that right now. Dustin Roberts, I don't know about going live every Sunday. We'll see how it feels and see. It seems like everybody enjoys it. We had quite a few people on here, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm glad that you share your Sunday evening with us. I hope this has been a blessing to you. Noble Brooks, we're in western North Carolina. Oh, Tennessee, you're talking to Tennessee Home. I'm sorry. Hey, Rick Cooper, I'm glad you got here. We may try to go 8 o'clock next time if that may work better for folks. Urban White Buffalo Farm. No, I wouldn't. Prudence, good night. Thank you for attending our live. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Sandy, we love y'all too, and I appreciate your comments on these girls. Bless you too, Dave. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. Opal Beach, ask you a question.
I just used my phone. I went to smartphone photography classes. I do have a Nikon camera, but I don't use it much.
Come here. Get up here with Pops. Sit right up here with me. Trey, yeah, we want to use the pizza oven again just as soon as we can. We've been talking about it. We always collaborate with Billy and Michelle. Michelle makes our pizza dough most of the time if she has time. And yeah, we're looking forward to pizza season for sure. I can't wait to fire that oven up and make some more pizza. Thank you, T-Paul.
Thank you.
Hope y'all have a great week too.
Thank you, T-Paul.
I'm trying to read. I'm sorry to be silent, but I want to see all these comments. I appreciate every one of them. D Believe, can you explain sorghum and hickory cane? Yes. Sorghum is there's grain sorghum, which is grown for just the grain, But what I grow is sweet sorghum. It's called sugar drip. And it makes a big stalk with a seed head in the top. Hold of this sharp. It makes a seed head in the top like this. And what we do with it is we cut the cane and crush it in a big roller mill and get the juice out, and we cook it down, and it makes sweet sorghum syrup, and it's really delicious. And I'm going to have videos on that this year, hopefully. Last year, my sorghum got ruined by aphids. I got it planted too late, and the methods I use instead of using chemicals, the aphids just kind of overwhelm me. But you got to get that stuff out early as possible. That'll help you with the cane getting ripe before the aphids come in. They come in on storms, and they just suck the sugar right out of the plant. Hickory cane, it's Hickory King. Hickory King, K-I-N-G, is the corn that I grow. A lot of people around here for king, they say Kang. Kang. That's why it sounds that way. Kenna Sword. I hear you, buddy. I hope you have a great night. God bless you too. KP, thank you for tuning in. Bless you too. We appreciate it. So glad y'all were here, and we're thankful for every one of you. Bless you too, Ruth Barrett. Good to I'm glad you got to see these girls too, Kenneth. Anytime. Thank you, Dan. You too. Hey, Tony and Antigua. I'm glad you're here, folks. I hope to see y'all before too long. Tammy Fly, my email is just it's the first four and last four of my name. Just JUST CALF, CALF, justcalf@gmail.com. Hey, Melissa Arrington. Yeah, Indian Creek, I know well. That's where my grandpa was raised, at the very head of Indian Creek. Dellinger Gristmill, I know about that. I've never met Jack Dellinger, but I've heard a lot about that little mill up there. Shouting at Clouds, I'll try to check on that. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. John, we've got a Kickstarter set up, and the link to that, I've got a video about the Kickstarter. It's a big announcement video. If you go in the description section of that video, right under the video, just click down there and it'll show you the description. The link is in that description for the Kickstarter. You can get to it that way. Thank you so much. All that money is going to kick off getting these meals in production. There's going to be a big expense at the beginning of it, and that's going to cover and get the ball rolling as fast as we can. People's needing meals, and I want to get them out. Thank you, Ty Scott. I appreciate that. I'll keep that in mind, buddy. My new Tennessee home. Yeah, them chickens will get you up early. I appreciate y'all being here. Really enjoyed it. Chicken Mama, thank you so much. I tell you what, Chicken Mama, I feel that way. I just feel like it's what the Lord meant for me to do. It's just like everything's just working out, and it's a dream, and it's going to help people, and people are excited about it. That's what makes me more excited and thankful for the opportunity. I don't even have words for it. It overwhelms me when I think about it. Also, these sorghum grain, you can mill that stuff, and I have had bread. They make like a porridge with it and fold it in their dough when they make bread. a baker that bought some grain from me a couple years back. He made some, and it was really delicious. It's got a distinct flavor. And hopefully I'll have some sorghum seed after this fall. Urban White Buffalo Farm, glad you were here. Thank you. Wait a minute. No. Opal Beach, thank you. Trey, yep, that's a heritage about the sorghum molasses. It sure is. Dustin Roberts, all right, right on, man. I appreciate you. Keep it going, and if I can help you with anything, I'm not bragging, but I got quite a bit of experience with some of this old stuff, and if I can help you, just reach out. I'll be glad to any way I can. Thank you, Idaho Hoosier. We appreciate you being here. Danny and Wanda are tops. Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. I hope that helped you. Mother was special, and if she knew now, I didn't get to do this while she was here, but if she knew what I was doing with this channel and sharing all these things, a lot of them I learned from her, she'd just be tickled to death with it. I know she would. She's always a giving person. My video, I tried to portray that of her, but she just, that's where I got it from. I mean, that's where I got it from. Yeah, I do too. Hey, Suze, I hope it gets kicked off, and it's gonna. And I wanted to tell you all this. I got a call from a man 3 weeks ago, and he said, I'm worried about some things, and he said, I want to grow some corn so I can feed my family, and he's got some farmland, and he's going to grow 2 or 3 acres of corn, and I'm going to send him some seed this coming week, along with some other people, sounds like. And he said, he's looking for a meal. He said, Justin, I don't know where to start, but I want to get a meal. I said, I've got some old ones that's okay, but I told him my plans of building one. He said, when you get one done, I don't care if it's a prototype. He said, when you get meals for sale, I want to buy one from you. So it's going to be a blessing to people, and what I'm making is not available, and I'm not doing it. I'm not money hungry or anything like that. I want to help people. I want people to know how it feels to mill grain, and just the love that comes from that and everything. That's what I want to do. Just share all that. You can go get her a cracker if she wants some. I don't know why she's so hungry again. You don't have to cry, baby. Go get your cracker. Let's see here.
Are you done with the video?
No, honey, I'm still not. Thank you, Jesus. I just finishing your comment there. Virginia especially, I know she's proud of me. She tells me that, and she helps me every way she can, and I'm thankful, so thankful for that. Yeah, that's right, Vicky. Sorghum grows. This is more sorghum country here where we was. The sugar cane is down south, down around the deep south, and I can't wait to try some of that syrup made from that sugar cane down there at deep south. Thank you, Susquehanna Homestead. I appreciate that very much. I hope I'm a help and a blessing to y'all. $165 likes. Woohoo! That's great, folks. Thank you so much. Hey, Greg Page. Pickens County, South Carolina. Haygood Mill. I know Haygood Mill well. There's a 24-inch Meadows mill in there that I restored for Haygood Mill. I know it well. The third Saturday, folks. If you're close to Pickens, South Carolina, Go to Hey Good Meal on the third Saturday. They got a petroglyph site. It's an amazing place. You go to enjoy it and support it if you can. Chicken Mama, I hope so too. I know it, Leah. I know it. And it's like throwing gas on the fire. I see y'all excited and I get more excited. Southern Lady, good night. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. You too, Lloyd Fortner. Thank you, buddy. Holler at me anytime. And we'll look at your grandpa's meal whenever you can there. Just let me know and we'll get it worked out. I'll make time to run over and check it out for you. Thank you, Noble. Thank you. Yeah, I've heard some things about fertilizer being hard to get, and if you can get it, it's so doggone expensive. Yeah, we're still here, Bob. We're hard to get rid of, I guess. American Mindbender, I've got a few old meals. It just depends on the condition, and some of them, the wood's good enough that they can operate like they are, and it just all depends what I've got in them, and I don't like to send one out unless the stones are dressed, and that takes a little time and whatnot. Hey, Wendy. It's a good point, Vicky Savage. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you, Trey. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, you made it, Wendy. We may try to do this maybe at 8 o'clock next time. I don't know what works best for people, but we'll figure out what does, and that's what we'll do. You too, Debbie. Thank you. Thank you, Dustin. Yeah, Bob, she got a little hungry. She is wanting a little snack. Shouting at clouds here in Texas, we are the largest cotton producer in the country. Wow. I've heard about them cotton strippers down there in Texas. Chicken Mama, these meals will be for individuals and communities. The smallest one is a fine size for individual use, or it can supply a small community very easily. Matt Brown, I would think for corn stalks and cobs, you're going to need some kind of a chipper shredder. A hammer mill might be able to do that, but I don't know. But a chipper shredder, a small chipper shredder would. I don't know what your scale is, but that would work good. Dustin Roberts, I hope your grapes do good as well. Like mine last year, I'm not going to let it happen this year. If something comes in, I'll be watching those grapes, and it'll be 2 or 3 days from getting ripe, and something will come in at night, coons or something, and clean them out. I'll go down there, and there won't be a grape nowhere. Makes you so mad you can't stand it. Makes you so mad it makes me so mad I could eat a fried chicken. I hope that sorghum does good, Cindy. I hope it does good. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. God bless you too. I've heard that Farm 26 fertilizes out of sight. It's a good time to learn how to do some different things. Get with some people that cover crops, and there's one fella I know out west. They're exploring different ways of fertilizing. He was thinking about maybe trying to do something with chickens. So people are trying to experiment and learn how to fertilize and do things a different way because they have to, and that's how we survive. Oh, Charlotte, I don't know. I hadn't seen her do like that, and since she was probably 3 months old. I don't know what she's got going on, but she's over there crunching on some crackers now, so she's doing good. Thank you, Oberson Farms. I appreciate that very much. Chicken Mama, it's going to be coming on my channel. Just keep watching, and they'll be coming up just as soon as... But I'm going to have other meals that I'm working on now on my channel, and then later on when things get caught up a little bit and whatnot, I'll be hopefully producing some of my own meals, but it'll all be on my channel. Jess, on your new design meal, how often would you guess the stones would need to be dressed, and what's the solution for it? Of course, that's like everything else. It's yet to be determined, but I've got a video on stone dress. I think it's a stone dressing one. It's the one that I was at a mill in South Carolina, a commercial mill, dressing some millstones, and they had milled in 2 years like over 1 million pounds of grain. I hand dress. Most everybody uses pneumatic air tools to dress millstones. I hand dress with hammers, and I always have good wear out of that. It does a lot better. I feel like you can be more accurate, and it's way better in my opinion. But we're gonna do some experimenting, I guess you could say, and see how long these stones last. I've got some ideas about dressing them a little differently and experimenting with them, and we're gonna find out what works the best. But I know how I dress stones works really well, so there won't be any risk involved. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. I hope it's a blessing, buddy. Trey, you too. Thank you so much. Bless you too. Thanks, Homestead Pastor. I've really enjoyed this. 2 weeks ago when I couldn't get it done, it was aggravating, but it was good. A lot of people hit the thumbs up, I heard, and that's great. I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did, or more than I did. I hope you enjoyed it more than I did. Thanks for sharing that, Joseph. Yeah, fish, J.M. Bagby, if you can get that. I've heard fish is really good fertilizer. I think there's something, fish water or something. I can't remember what the proper word for that is, but American Mindbender, I started pecking on millstones when I was 14, and I've just got experience with it and found out what works, and it's a very precise process, and the way you do it, like I said, I dress by hand because I feel like you can be most accurate that way. And when you're dealing with stones that have to be like as close as a cigarette paper or closer together without touching, you have to be pretty precise, and it just takes experience. I mean, that's hopefully one thing that I'm going to do if somebody needs to learn how to dress their stones, be able to show them at my shop, maybe have a little class or something one day and show people how to dress stones and teach them. And you just got to get experience, but if you know a few key things, you won't mess up your stones and you'll be able to keep milling. So how long did it take me to learn how to dress them? I'd like to think I'm still learning. I don't want to get to a point I think I know it all, because then I won't be able to learn nothing. So I guess I'm still learning, but I've been dressing millstones pretty good for several years now, so it probably took me, probably be more accurate to go by how many millstones I dressed. Probably maybe 5 to 10 to get really good at it, 5 to 10 sets to learn what works and what don't and what not to do. And wow, Farm 26. Yeah, Vicky Savage, Danny and Wanda's doing some awesome stuff down there and can help you most likely. I know, Strand Farm. We got to get to growing some Cushaw squash. Them things are good. I hate that Ranjani Ranch. I tried last time. I didn't say Eastern, and I had folks asking me what time zone. And I didn't even think about that. I'll try to do better if y'all be patient with me. Thank you, Kay Bowers. I appreciate that. I hope it's a blessing to you and your family. If nothing else, make you laugh a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, some right there.
Thanks for sharing, Brenda. Do you have a lathe turning for turning metal and making axles? Shouting at Clouds, I do have a lathe. Right now I'm working with somebody else to make parts. But yes, I do have a metal lathe.
Right there.
Idaho Hoosier, thank you, Julie. Glad you enjoyed and glad to have you here. Conrad Homestead, thank you. I hope you enjoyed. Glad to see y'all here. Thanks for sharing, Joseph. Megs F, I hope to teach more people about this, and yeah, I hope so too. I hope I can share this with somebody. I don't know how much interest my girls are going to have with it, but we'll see as time goes on, and maybe I have two mills. The one I rebuilt when I was 15, and then my great-grandpa's. The first one was my grandpa's. So I have my grandpa's and my great-grandpa's mill. I'm going to give my girls each one of those mills, and the one I used with Virginia when she was little, she's going to get, and the other one I'll be milling some with Charlotte now that she's big enough to know what's going on, and that'll be her mill. So I'm going to hand that down to them. Thank you, Megs. Ricky Broom, thank you, brother. God bless you too. I appreciate you, and I hope you enjoyed this live. I hear you, Irma. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Yeah, it sure is, Megs. We need people that are able to do things because so much is getting lost. I was talking to somebody this morning about Kickstarter. There's projects people get on there and get funded. They ask for like $100,000 for a new video game, and they get $500,000 to fund that project. And somebody trying to build a grain mill to feed people and people to be able to eat healthy stuff on a daily basis, it's a struggle to get it funded, maybe, or maybe it'll be successful, I hope. I know there's a lot of good support. I know it's not for lack of trying, but yeah, it's a crazy world sometimes when you think about it. Good night, Marion. God bless you too. Thank you. Joy Sims. My girls, Charlotte went to get her a cracker and she's playing on her tablet, and Virginia had to go in there for something, but if they was here, they'd be blowing you kisses, Joy Sims. We love you and miss you, and we hope to see you soon.
I'm coming.
Virginia heard me. She's coming, Joy. Just hang on.
Oh, me too. Stop.
Great, Ranjani. I'm glad it's there. I was wondering about that. Hey, Nate. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you for being here, Nate Kramer. If you don't know the Kramer Life, check them out. They've got them a new homestead, and she's waving at you, Joy Sims. The Kramer Life, they just got them a new place, and check them out if you don't know them. Lee and Gordon Mill, I know that mill, American Mindbender. I've been there. I've been on the porch of Lee and Gordon Mill there. It wasn't open. I had to look through the wind, but it is a beautiful place. I've seen it underwater too. Yeah, the girls will have their own meals. They'll have my grandpa's and my great-grandpa's, and most likely they'll have one of the ones I'll build too, hopefully. Hey, Permapasture Farm, I would raise the window behind me and holler at you, but you're probably in the house. Oh, yeah, girls. I mean, that Virginia, I hear you, Farm 26. Yeah, Strand Farm, let's do that. That sounds great. Everybody's saying hey to Permapasture. If you don't know Permapasture, check them out. You'll enjoy them. I've learned so much from Permapasture's farm. Thank you, Mags. I agree. I agree. Hey, Marion, Texas. That's right, Homestead Pastor. When you can't depend on a lot of things these days, right now we can still depend on ourselves and what we can do and each other. And like I keep saying, these grain mills, that's what I hope they do, is people go in together and get one of these grain mills, and they spend a Saturday every week or every few days milling grain together and having fun and fellowshipping and socializing. That's what I hope. I hope my grain mill's the heart of that, because the grain mill is always the heart of the communities in the olden days. And that's what I want to bring back. I want to bring that back. And I mean, people went to different churches, but everybody went to the same grain mill in that community. And I think that's a very special thing, and it's talked about in the scripture a lot. And there's something very special about it. And I just hoping that my project and dream can be part of doing that. You think Permapasture Farm ain't loved? You look on these comments right here. They're getting a lot of love. That's good, Bob. That's awesome. I know they'll appreciate that. Yeah, I hear you, Vicky. Yeah, there's going to be a big milling party. Permapasture Farm. It's going to be a big milling party. We'll have to go live on that thing. We're working on that, Wendy. I'll hopefully be able to share that with y'all sometime. Yep, it sure is, Mags. It's something special about it. You know, something special about it. I mean, the whole idea of a grain mill brings union, because you can't mill with just one stone. You have to have two. So, yeah, it is. It's very, very special. Phone's reminding me time to take a break. I don't think so. American Mindbender, that's very interesting. I've been around Ringgold and Chickamauga and through there. Yeah, that's right, Nate. We've been talking about that. I hope that comes to be. It'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, that milling party, if we could mill some grain, make some bread, and laugh and talk, that would really be something fun. Thank you, Wendy. Nate, I agree, man. I agree. Tuck them in, Renjani Ranch. Tuck them in. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. I'm going to try my hardest on that. I hear you, Idaho Hoosier. I was thinking today about that bone saw. Somebody commented on one of my old videos about just shooting deers with a 22 subsonic. And I was thinking about Billy's bone saw. So if you got deer problems, check him out. He's probably going to not appreciate me saying that. Maybe. I don't know. He's been making bone sauce like crazy. I went up the road the other day and I seen the smoke coming up. And I said, yeah, where they smoke this bone sauce. But I was thinking about that, and if deers are eating your garden, you got to protect your food from eating your food. Now think about that. Maybe these silent times when I'm not talking, maybe that lets everybody have a chance to read some comments and talk to each other there. A little community in the comments. I love that. That would be a good idea, Dustin. Permapasture Farm. He shared a lot of good ideas with me. I hope I've shared some with them. K Bowers, I don't know. That might be a thing. If could get it done quick enough, that might be a good idea. If it could get it together, getting them made and whatnot. I don't know about that shouting at clouds. I'll think about it, but I don't know right now. Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas about what to put on a shirt. I'll think about that for sure. That's great, Noah. That's great. Okay, Farm 26. We may give that a shot. I'll talk to some people tomorrow and see how long out it would be to get some. And I'd really like to get something American made if I could. And that's really the only thing I want my name on, to be honest with you. I've seen so much junk that's not American made, and American made's a little more expensive usually, but that's one thing with my meals. I want every piece of them to be American made. So Metcalf Mills, Mary Hayes. Or Haynes, I'm sorry, Mary Haynes. Metcalf Mills on a shirt. You think anybody'd buy that? J.M. Bagby, I couldn't agree more. Y'all are such a blessing. I share my stories, and you know, at the beginning, it's like, well, I share my stories, that's it. But oh no, I share my stories, and y'all share your stories in the comments, and it's a blessing coming back to me. I love reading your stories, all the kind comments and what y'all share. It's such a blessing. I am so thankful. Yeah, Billy, I tell you what, Permapastures Farm, it sure was. That stuff we milled up, Michelle's made a bunch of different delicious delectables out of it. And I've got a few cookies over here on the cabinet. I've tried to eat them sparingly, but Michelle, she's always making delicious cookies and snacks and all kinds of stuff. And she used some of the flour that we had milled up, and oh man, you talk about good. There's no going back now. Yeah. Yeah, if we could get Danny and Wanda to the milling party. Yeah, I hear you, Permapasture. I know what you meant, buddy. Yep. That grain we milled up for you. Milling and grilling, Idaho Hoosier. That's a good idea. Did you hear that, Billy? Milling and grilling. If that ain't us, I don't know what is. Yeah, shouting at clouds. I don't know if there's some way they could grow a cover crop and let it die. I don't know about that. T-Paw. She's cooking supper and still listening. Okay, T-Paw, I'll make you one with Justro on it. Good idea, Joseph. I'll have to check into that. I didn't know about that. Yeah, it has, Bob. I'm really thankful. The subscribers have went up considerably in the last week, and that's great. I know Danny and Miss Wanda have mentioned us, and we really appreciate that. That helps a lot, and Permapasture's always supported us and recommended us, and appreciate everybody. It sure is. Shouting at clouds, good name. Rick Cooper, Justro's cornmeal. Yeah, James Clark. That fresh cornmeal. My mother and daddy, you know, when I was growing up, they got used to eating white lily cornmeal, and Daddy got to where he liked it, and they just got used to it. And we didn't eat fresh milled corn for a long time, and after I got into milling and started milling our own corn, Virginia, she wasn't a big fan of that kind of cornbread, but once I started milling corn and making cornbread out of my corn, and grinding my own cornmeal, she loves it. It's totally different. It's totally different. Permapasture says, hey, Virginia.
Hey.
She said, hey. Yeah, I've seen that, Joseph. When they run over them cover crops with them crimpers, and it's got that kind of chevron pattern on there, and it crimps that stuff up and kills it. That's an awesome system. It really is. James, glad you're here. Appreciate Mr. Danny so much. Johnny Ranch, I know, man. I felt so bad for you when we heard about your dog. I hope you'll get a good replacement. I know it may be too soon for that, but I hope you find another good dog and you're blessed with it. Perma Mills Backyard Cooking, Dustin. I think we've already got one, because me and Billy, I mean, we got about the same taste, and we both like to eat about the same, so we may just have one and not know it. Bob K, yeah, Virginia's my oldest daughter. She's 16. I think several people thought maybe she was my wife or girlfriend or something, because we popped up here last week when I couldn't go live. We done that little video just to let everybody know what was going on, and I didn't say this is my daughter, and I guess I just took it for granted most everybody knew that, but I realize now they didn't. So yeah, Virginia's my daughter. Virginia's lived with me since she was 3 years old, and she's a special girl. I tell you, I'm so thankful for Virginia. She's got a kind nature and helps me and Charlotte, and we all work together. It's just, she is some girl now, I'm telling you. I'm glad I hope I can go back and see these comments. I can't remember on a live if you can or not, but there's some good suggestions on here for some shirts and sayings and whatnot. I hope I can go back and see them. Maybe not, I don't know. Jalen0605, thank you so much for that encouragement. I appreciate that. I'm glad y'all enjoy, and I hope this channel's a blessing to you. American Mindbender, you store cornmeal. If you freeze it out for a couple weeks, just to be sure, that'll kill any kind of larvae or any bugs or anything that might be in it. I have had cornmeal, you could set it over in a jar and it never get anything in it, and that's because the bugs never got to it in the field to, I guess you'd say, populate it, lay eggs or whatever. But freeze it in the freezer for 2 weeks. Then you can take it out and let it spread it out and let it acclimate and get back to a normal temperature so it don't have moisture in it. And then you can just put it in glass jars, anything sealed up, vacuum seal it, put oxygen absorbers in with it, and it'll keep if it's in a cool place. Yeah, Robert Crumley, I did talk about that. I made us a little run of hominy here a while back, but I'm gonna, the next day that I can kind of hang around in the house all day, I'm gonna make another run of hominy, and I'm gonna film it to show y'all how to do it. And I use that Hickory King corn for that. I also got some of that Cherokee flour corn. You can use that for hominy too, but I love that stuff. I shared a little bit with Permapasture. I don't know if I got their opinion on it or not, but we love it. AFJ3RD, I hope you do get some. But I'm going to warn you, once you go fresh milled, you can never go back. It just, nothing else will satisfy your taste buds. Yeah, Bob, I'm glad Virginia's still hanging with me too. She gets out and does her thing sometimes, but she still likes doing stuff, and I'm so thankful for that. We do a lot together, and yeah, I'm thankful. Thanks for all these suggestions for shirts. That's great ideas. No, Robert, you can't meal sweet corn. That's sugar content in it. It gets kind of gummy, and it'll gum up your millstones and make a big mess. So you don't want, if you're talking about milling, I think that's what you meant. Field corn. Oh, maybe you're talking about making hominy. You can kind of make hominy out of field corn that will dry out hard. There's a couple ways, maybe more, of making hominy. The way I make it is different than most people that I've seen make it. So, oh, okay, Lee. Well, I'm glad to know that, Leah C. I was hoping so, because I want to look back over these. Yeah, a lot of good ideas here. Thank y'all for sharing them. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate that. Danny and Wanda are precious. That's a good idea, Megs. That's a good idea. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate that so much. Tracy, it sure does. Some people like bolted cornmeal, some people like unbolted. But it sure does. And it's good for you, too. Okay, Bob. Thanks, buddy. If I do get around to making shirts or hats, I'll be telling y'all about it on my channel for sure. Nobody, somebody, yeah, we talked quite a bit about the meal. Hopefully you can go back and watch it if you want to, but I'll try to tell you real quick. We're going to try to be turning out some meals maybe, hopefully July sometime, the first batch. Maybe, it depends on if this crowdfunding, if this Kickstarter is successful. That will make things go a lot faster for me. So we're going to get some turned out as soon as we can. Don't know exact prices yet. I'm trying to build them as inexpensive as I possibly can so that people can afford to own them, because something comparable to the meal I'm building right now is going to cost you more than twice as much as my target price. Hopefully I can get it less than that, but it's going to be the best I can do. That sounds beautiful, Shouting at Clouds. I don't think I'd heard about that. West Virginia Hillbilly, glad you're here. Glad you enjoy the word of the day. I have more fun with that one than any of them. Mary Haynes, bless you too. Good night. Jenna Zempleman, I hope it helps. I hope I can help somebody. Thank you. Thank you, Ranjani Ranch. Charles Murphy, hey! I hope you're taking good care of that straw meal down there. I look forward to when you're milling with that thing. You may be already, but maybe not. But I look forward to when you are. Let's see here. Looks like my comments froze up again. Now I don't know how to get them back. Let's see here. There they are. I got it now. Thank you, Bob. I had a lot of good encouragement from my friends down at Permapasture with this YouTube, and they really helped get me started and boosted me a lot of times and my numbers and encourage me, and it's really fun. They coach me a lot. William helped me a lot with editing in the beginning, and I had a huge help with this. Yeah, nobody, somebody. If there's something in there that didn't get explained or you didn't understand, just comment or send me an email or something, and I'll do my best. Thanks, Permapastures. I hope they do, because with what I found out about this eating fresh meal grain and what it did for that lady in Texas as far as her health, her and her children, I hope everybody that's unaware can learn more and hopefully start eating fresh milled grains. I hope so. Yeah, I hear you, Farm 26. Yeah, that won't be an issue for sure. I'm gonna do the best I can. Thanks, T-Pile. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Miss Christie. I appreciate that. Okay, Strand Farm. Thank you so much. I love y'all. Good night. Tim Lale, thanks, buddy. I'm excited about it, and I'm going to be talking to you. That's for sure. If y'all, Tim Lale, my buddy there, if y'all seen that video, some person contacted Tim when he made me that sorghum pan on that video. One of my subscribers contacted Tim and had him make this big pot for me because they had heard that I was going to have him make a pot. And it's a big stainless pot. I got a video. It's in one of my videos. It's just amazing, and he done some craftsmanship on that thing. It's just unbelievable. And I'm really looking forward to using that big pot. Just hadn't got to yet, but it's coming. And it will be on here. It won't be televised, but it'll be YouTubed. That's right, James. Cornbread and backer, just not at the same time. Thank you, Chicken Mama. T-Paw, love you too. Robert Crumley, you can grind any kind of hard field corn and make cornbread out of it. Or grits. You can mill any kind of free-flowing grain, but corn, any kind of hard corn you can mill and make. Some of it's got different taste, and some of it mills different, but thank you, Jenna, for watching. I hope you have a good week. Good night. Chosen Abundance Farm. Wow. Look what they're doing. Good night, Nate Kramer. Thanks, buddy.
Aww.
We appreciate you and Katie.
That's so sweet.
I know. That shows an abundance farm. Thank you. I don't even know what to say to that comment. Jess, thank you. Thank you so much. Have a blessed night, Jess. Yeah, Bob, YouTube's amazing. You know, before I even really knew what it was, you go on there and you watch a video and you get off and that's it. I had no idea it had the social aspect like it does. It's just amazing. Thank you, D Believe. We appreciate that. Yeah, right, Vicky. Right, we got away from the local miller, and Metcalf Mills is trying to help with that a little bit. Good night, Tommy. Miss Opal, we love you too. I'm so glad that, so thankful for all those folks as well. Yeah, Wendy, it's great. Such a blessing. It's unbelievable. Well, folks, I appreciate all of y'all. This has really been a good live. I've enjoyed it, and appreciate all these kind words and comments, and appreciate each and every one of y'all. The mayor froze again.
Here. Go back. Oh, you got it.
Maybe.
Here.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think it froze. I just don't think anybody was saying anything. Last time I completely cleared the app and that worked for me.
Okay. I think you can go back, Hey Suze, and watch it. Yeah, I hear you, Farm 26. You can commercialize a lot of things, but you shouldn't commercialize food. That's not how it's meant to be. Hey, Suze, I'll do my best to get that hominy recipe out here before long. It's really something good. Good night, Miss Opal. God bless you, too. Good night, Horticulture and Homes. Bob K, my little track hoe. I love that little thing. I've had it for a long time and do a lot of work with it. Use it moving heavy stuff around, and I love it. As far as small equipment, I don't know what that would be. I like my corn shellers pretty good. I've got a grain cleaner that I'm gonna get fired up pretty soon, and it's a Clipper M2B machine, and I'm looking forward to using that. I think that's gonna be a favorite. I've not used it yet, but Permapasture Farm said hi, sweetheart.
Hey.
Hey.
Char said hey from over there in her corner.
From Sissy's corner.
Char, is it your bedtime yet? No? Girl, you got lucky tonight,
I think it's
didn't
past your bedtime, girl.
you? When you learn how Live Night works, you're probably gonna love it, ain't you?
Yeah.
Wendy C said good night, Virginia.
Good night.
Good night.
Shuri, Stacy, RN, hominy is corn goes through a process called nixtamalization, and what that does is it kind of, I don't know if dissolves is the right word, but it eats the outer skin, the husk, not husk, but the outer skin of the corn and bran off, and it allows the kernel to swell, and that is hominy to me. Grits are hard corn that's been milled coarsely and made a coarse grit out of that corn. Hominy grits are when you make hominy and you dry that hominy out, and then you mill that dried hominy to make hominy grits. A friend of mine loves doing that, and we've done it a few times. It's really good too. The grits have a hominy flavor that's so good. Farm 26, that was a wooden clipper 1B, but I've got a metal clipper, a metal machine. It's a M2B that I'm going to be using. I don't think I done a video on that one, but I did the 1B. Good night, Mr. Noble Brooks. I hope you enjoyed it, buddy. Hey, Shar. Shar. Uncle Billy said, tell the koala I said hi.
Okay.
She said K, Billy. I have not Shouting at Clouds, but that sounds pretty awesome. I've got a 3D puzzle of Mabry meal in a box that I've never put together. One of these days I'm going to do that. They're very interesting. Wendy C. Charlotte said good night.
Good night.
She said good night. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, 2 of them are, Vicky. I don't know yet on cane seeds. The aphids messed it up, and then I didn't get them harvested as early as I wanted, and I may not have any cane seed this year, but Lord's willing, if everything does good next year, I will have some cane seed for sure. QC screen. Glad to know that, Farm 26. Hey, Virginia, write down QC screen for me, please.
QC?
QC screen. I'll check them out, Farm 26. Thank you. Well, folks, it's about 17 minutes till 10 on my clock. And Johnny Ranch, thank you. Thank you so much. I tell you, I'm just overwhelmed by how generous people have been and supporting this meal project. I just hope that this thing is a huge blessing to people. I mean, that's my heart's desire, is that it blesses people. Girls, you want to come and say good night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm glad y'all were here. I really appreciate you coming to our first live. We enjoyed every bit of it. And me and my girls, Charlotte and Virginia, are thankful for you all watching our channel and encouraging and speaking kind words to us. I read comments to the girls, and Virginia reads her own comments sometimes and comments on them sometimes. We appreciate y'all so much. You are our YouTube family, and we appreciate you. And I appreciate all of our YouTube neighbors. Appreciate all of y'all and all the help and kindness. Appreciate all of you. You're great people, and we're thankful for you. I don't know when we'll have another live. We'll get it figured out, and I'll do better this time about announcing it ahead of time so y'all will know. But let me check up on these comments here. I do not want to leave a comment unanswered. Thank you, Vicky. You too, Bob. Thank you, buddy. I hope you do too. Night, Mel. Thank you, Leah. We enjoyed it. Thank you for spending yours with us. Bless you, James. Good night. Good night, Sherry. Bless you, Joseph. Good night. Thank you, Shouting at Clouds. I agree. Shar, do you want to come say good night? Folks, we love all of you and appreciate you. Me and my girls, ready? Say good night on 3, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Good night.
One, two, three, good night.
I don't know how you cut this thing off, Junior. Do you want to something?